welcome to my channel. Well, today I was going through that old cookbook from the 1940s that I have, and I came across a recipe for something called a Jiffy Cake. Now this cake is faster than a mix, and it also is very moist and delicious, and you know exactly what's in it. You can mix it up faster than most cake mixes, so if you needed something after school snack or just a cake real quick, this is a great recipe for that. So we're going to go ahead and get this started. Okay, so to make this cake, what you're going to need is 4 tablespoons, which is about a half a stick of softened butter. And I'm just going to dump that right in my mixing bowl. You're going to need 1 cup of sugar. You're going to need 1 egg. And I'm just going to, you see, I'm just dumping this right in the bowl. Okay, and we're going to need 1½ cups of self-rising flour. Now this flour has been sifted first and then measured for accuracy. Okay, and then the last thing we're going to need is 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. And my kitty is not very happy because I closed the doors, and so my husband's radio wouldn't get on, and she wants out, so hold on a minute. Sorry about that. She just decided she wanted out. And we're also going to need 1/2 cup of milk. So let me get the milk out. And we're going to measure out 1/2 cup of milk. This is just plain whole milk. And I'm going to dump that in. Okay, and now all I'm going to do is take my spatula and start mixing this together with my spatula, because I don't want to overmix this cake, and it would be real easy to do. Now I also have my oven preheating at 350 degrees, and I have greased an 8x8, greased and floured an 8x8 baking dish to use with this. So, okay, and I'm going to get this to start coming together here. Okay, and now at this point I'm going to go ahead and take my hand mixer, and I'm going to start mixing this a little bit. I just wanted to get it started with the spatula so that I didn't overmix. So hang on just a minute. Okay, now I have just a smooth, cohesive batter, and I'm going to go ahead and stir that just a little bit more to get that off the edges and get that mixed in. Okay, and let me take my baking dish. Here's my 8x8 baking dish, and I'm just going to dump this in. And we're going to bake this at 350 degrees for about 30 minutes, but I am going to check it in 25, because you can see it doesn't fill the pan up a lot, so it's not going to take this very long to bake at all. So I'm going to check it in 25, and we'll see where we're at, and I will come back at that point and show you what we have. Okay, my cake has about 15 minutes left on the timer, and it's just starting to smell a little bit, so it's time to start our buttercream glaze. Now a glaze is a little thinner than an icing, so this is going to be a very thin, very pourable glaze that we're going to pour over this cake while it's still hot when it comes out of the oven. So we're going to start by clarifying our butter. Now clarified butter is going to really give us a nice, strong, buttery taste. So what we're going to do is just start stirring this, and right now my heat's high. I'm going to turn my heat down because I don't want this to scorch. And you see it is beginning to boil a little bit. You see all those bubbles is the liquid in the butter beginning to come out. And what we want is for this butter to become a lot more clear and golden a little bit. But you want to keep it moving, because if you don't keep stirring this, your milk solids are going to scorch. And I'm going to take that up a little bit away from the heat. Turn my heat down, because again, I don't want this to scorch. But you can kind of see what it's doing in the pot. And it is beginning to give off a very buttery smell to this too. So, okay, and you see it's more and more that liquid is coming out. The butter is not quite there yet because it hasn't turned that warm golden color that I want it to turn. So we're going to turn that up just a little bit more. I think turned it down a little too low. I wish you could smell this. This butter really smells good. Very fragrant. Okay, now I don't know if you can see, but there's some the milk solids are beginning to come to the bottom. And now there's that lovely golden color I was talking about. So we're going to I'm going to turn I want this to stop cooking right away, so I'm going to add some buttermilk. And that's going to stop that from cooking right away. Okay, and take this away from the heat. And I'm going to stir in, this is 3/4 cup of confectioner sugar. And I'm stirring into this. I may have to put in a little more because I don't know if that was hardly enough. Let me grab my sugar. I'm going to put in just a little bit more because that's not quite where I want it. You can always add more liquid or more if it's too thick, or you can add a little more confectioner sugar if it's not thin enough for you. Okay, and we're getting there. I'm going to add just a little more because, again, that was 3/4 cup that I started with. So I think I'm going to end up with about 1.25 cups maybe. I don't really have a recipe for this. I just kind of eyeball it, and when it gets to where I want it to be, then that's where it is. So, okay, and now I'm going to add just a dash of salt. And I'm going to add about, just about 1/2 teaspoon maybe of vanilla. It's not going to take much. And I'm going to add about roughly 1/2 tablespoon to 1 tablespoon of corn syrup. And what that corn syrup will do is to prevent this from becoming too sugary and grainy when you're done. We don't want it to be grainy. Okay, and I still don't have quite enough, so I'm going to add a little more. Okay, that's looking better. Now what I'm going to do, I want this to be a lot smoother than it is, so I'm going to grab a whisk and I'm going to start whisking this. Okay. And you can see the consistency we have is very liquidy. Still may be a little too liquidy for what I want, so I'm going to go ahead and keep adding, put in a little more until it gets to where I want it to be. I want it a little thinner than cake icing, but not watery. Okay, and this is coming a lot better. This is more like what I want. So it might have taken as much as I don't know, it may have taken as much as 1.75 cups. Yeah, you can see now that this is exactly what I want. Okay, so our icing is done, and I'm just going to put it over here where on this other burner in the back, because that's where the heat from the oven is coming out, and that'll help keep that warm. So I'll be back with you when I check on my cake. Okay, the cake is done. It took it about 30 minutes in my oven, and you can see it's nice. It springs back nice. And so what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to take the icing that we made, or the glaze, and we're just going to dump that on top while this cake is still hot. Okay, and just spread that on. And again, this cake is so easy. You can make it faster than you can a boxed cake or a mixed cake, and it's going to taste a whole lot better. And also, you know what's in it, so that's a plus too. Okay, push that down and let that run down those sides. Okay, now I am going to let this cool a little bit, and we're going to cut a piece off, and I'll be back with you. Okay, and here it is with the out of the pan with the glaze on top, and I'm going to taste of it and let y'all know what it tastes like. Very moist and buttery and very delicious. Let me go take Mr. Ron a piece, and I'll be right back with you. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and will give this recipe a try. I will list the ingredients down below in the description, so you can try it if you like. Well, I do want to thank you for watching, and if you did enjoy the video, please give me a like and consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.